Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss about electric measurements, or in simple word, if I am given a device, then how can I measure electric current, potential, reference resistance of the circuit. So let us start. So before starting, let us first study with, if I am given a circuit, then how can I find the total current in the circuit or total resistance. If let us suppose if I am given a simple circuit like this is resistance, and I simply add two resistance here, and I connect it to here with a voltage source. So here you can simply find what is the voltage, what is the current, and what is the total resistance of the circuit. But what about if circuit is more complicated, something like this? This is a cell, and here I am given, and again I am given a cell, and here, and I am given here resistance. Let us say this is E1, this is E2, this is R1, this is R2, this is capital R. So in that case you should need or we need some extra knowledge about the topic, and to solve such kind of circuits we use Kirchhoff's law. So let us study Kirchhoff's law. Basically there are two laws which are given by Kirchhoff, in which first law is the Kirchhoff's current rule, that is simply current rule. So what it means is, what this law states, this law simply states that, let us say this is a circuit, or here at the point P some different wires are connected, and it is given, let us suppose here is current I1, here is current I2, here is current I3, and here is current I4, here is current I5. So at point P, at this point, or in simple word at the junction, when I simply add the total current, I will get 0. So in simple word I can say that sigma I equals to 0 at junction. This is the first Kirchhoff's rule, which is commonly used. So what it means, in other words, if I try to understand it, we can say that a total current which is coming to this circuit, this one, and the total current which is going out of the circuit, both are equal. And if I write it, then I can say, let us assume the current which is coming toward the point P, which take it that positive, and the current that is coming out from point P, take that negative, just for sake of simplicity. So I1 is coming, and I2 is coming, and I3 is coming, but I4 and I5 are outgoing, or I can write it as I1, I2, I3 equal I4 plus I5. This is the total current. So this is the simple form. This is simple form of this equation sigma equals to 0. That is, this is the incoming current and this is the outgoing current. Total incoming current equals to total outgoing current. This is the first Kirchhoff's rule. Now let us talk about second law of Kirchhoff's. And the second law of Kirchhoff's is known as Kirchhoff's voltage rule. That is simply voltage rule. So what it say? Let us suppose I am given a circuit, something like this. I am assuming very simple circuit just to solve it. And let us assume EMF of this cell is E1 and for this is E2 and current is flowing in this arm. Let us suppose this is A, B, C, D, E, F. In first term that is EV, let us current is I1. In CF it is I3 and here it is I2. So what I have supposed here is I1, I2, I3. Just for sake of simplicity you can change the value according to yourself. So voltage rule states that if I multiply current with their respective resistance, that will be equal to the total voltage of the circuit. Or in simple word, if I just simply write it as sigma IR equals to sigma V, which is simply Ohm's law, nothing else. So what I am doing here is the total algebraic sum of the change in the potential around any closed loop. So this is the closed loop, this one, and this one is also a closed loop. So the total change in the voltage in this circuit, that will be 0. There will not be any change in the voltage. Or in simple word, you can say that if I multiply the current with their respective resistance, then and sum it all, I will get the total potential of the circuit. So let us try to understand it in more detail. So for sake of simplicity, now first take let closed circuit A, B, C, F, A. So just remember it how I am writing. Whenever it is asked in your question paper or in board exam, then you must remember how to write it. You need not to just simply that you are given a question and you simply start making equations and you have not given the figure name or the points in which arm or whatever you are using for the solution for getting the equation. So here I am checking for closed circuit A, B, C, F, A. That is A, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is F, and this is again A. So if I check, then I find that in this arm lower one, current is going like this, or in other word, current is flowing in anti-clockwise direction in the whole circuit. So since the current is flowing in the anti-clockwise in the whole circuit, which I am assuming, that is A, B, C, F, A. In that case, I assume that total current or the currents I1 and I3, that will be assumed at positive. If any case one current is opposite to the direction of any other one, in that case we take one as a positive and other as a negative, depending on what the equation that you will get, or and after solving that whatever you get, that will be the same. There will be no change in the solution answer. So let us try. So in that case, here for this R3 I have current I3, I can write it as I3 R3 plus, here is resistance R1 and current is I1 R1 I1, and since current is coming out from the positive terminal of this cell, so I will write it simply as E1. If the current is coming out from the negative terminal, then I just simply put minus sign here. So what am I telling you? That is the trick which I usually use to solve the equation circuits. When current is coming out of the positive terminal, just simply put equal cell EMF with positive sign. If current is coming out from the negative terminal, then put negative sign. So here it is coming from the positive, so I have used a positive sign. So now let us again say, let closed circuit C, D, E, F, C. So here I can say, or you can also see that very clearly in upper arm, that is F. See, this one current is flowing like this, and then lower one current is flowing in the same way. That is, current is flowing in the clockwise direction. So I will take I1, sorry, I3 and I2 as positive. So what I will write here is I3 R3 plus I2 R2, and again I2 current is coming out from the positive terminal, so I will simply write it as E2. That is the second equation. Now let us come to the point F, this point. So what you can observe, or if you will use the first law, then you can say that I1 plus I2 equal I3, that is the third equation. So let us try to understand third equation in more detail. Since this current I3 is coming from this direction and I1 is coming from upper direction, this is I3, sorry, I2, and this is I1, and I1 and I2 both adding, and it is going in R3 as I3. So I wrote I1 plus I2 equals to I3. So these are the three equations which I have obtained. This first one, this second one, this is the third one. These are the possible equations which you can obtain. And when you will solve the circuit, some value will be given to you. Let us say you are given R1, R2, R3, E1, E2. Then the then question may be asked as what is the current in arm AB, what is the current in arm CF, what is the current in arm ET, or any other question that can be asked. So for that, what you need to do here is you just need to simply solve these equations, these three equations, and then you will get I1, I2 and I3, and then then simply use Ohm's law. Whatever you have done earlier, just use that and you will get the answer. So now let us talk about a new topic, something related to this one, and the topic which is somewhat related to Kirchhoff's law, or which use the Kirchhoff's law for its derivation, is a Wheatstone bridge. So let us try to understand Wheatstone bridge in more detail. Okay, so first let me write it. Wheatstone bridge. So Wheatstone bridge is very simple, and what it says that let us say you are given four resistance, something like this. This is the first resistance, and this is second, and this is third one, and this is the fourth one. And here I have put a voltage source. So let me draw it clearly. And here I put a galvanometer, that is J. So let us see, this is P, this is R, this resistance is Q, and this is S, and here EMF is E. So now what Wheatstone bridge says that if galvanometer deflection is null, or in other words there is no deflection in the galvanometer, then we can say that P over Q equal R over S. Then this equation will be satisfied, or we will obtain this equations. So one thing that you can think when I said that there is no deflection in galvanometer, so if there is no deflection, that simply means that there will be no current in the galvanometer. So what is galvanometer? You need not to worry about it now. I will discuss about it in magnetics. And so let us solve it by using Kirchhoff's law. Just for sake of simplicity, let us take that total current in the circuit is I, and here I assume the current is I1. Here it will be I minus I1. Just for sake of simplicity, let us assume that there is initially there is no deflection and no null deflection or zero deflection in the galvanometer initially, or galvanometer is showing some deflection rather than zero, and I assume that the current in galvanometer is Ig. So current in Q will be I1 minus Ig, and the current here will be I minus I1 plus Ig. So this is what I have obtained by using division of the current. Now just sake of simplicity, let us assume again that this point is B, this is point C, and this is point D, and now I can apply Kirchhoff's law. So let us first consider closed loop in a closed loop E P D A, that is this one. So now here, as I have told you earlier, that if current is flowing in the same direction in the whole circuit, then current will always be taken as positive. But here you will find something different. Here condition is not the same. So here you will find that in this arm and current in this arm and this arm is flowing this way or in clockwise direction, but here it is flowing like this, or in simple word in anti-clockwise direction. So what I will do here is, for and let us assume, just for sake of simplicity, that current in the clockwise direction is positive and anti-clockwise direction is negative. No matter whether you choose anti-clockwise positive or other one negative, because the equation that you will obtain finally will be the same. So what you will obtain here is I1P plus IgG, and what is G? G is the resistance of the galvanometer, I am assuming, and minus I minus I1 into R, since in this circuit, that means A, B, D, A, in the circuit there is no cell between these points. Just for sake of simplicity, forget about all the circuit, just remember these 3 points A, B, D. So you will find that there is no cell or battery or EMF source here, so the voltage will be 0. This is the first equation. Now again, in a closed loop B, C, D, B, similarly if I apply in this arm, current is flowing here, current is flowing in this way, but in that only one arm, that is BQ, current is flowing clockwise, and into it is flowing anti-clockwise. So let us suppose here, just to show you that equation will not change, I am using anti-clockwise as positive and clockwise as negative. So what I will get here, Ig G plus I minus I1 plus Ig into S minus I1 minus Ig into Q equals to 0. So for Wheatstone based condition 2 we follow. For Wheatstone bridge condition, I is equals to 0, that is current in the galvanometer is 0. So what I obtained from here is I1P equals to I minus I1 into R. So this is the equation which I obtained from the upper one, and here I will obtain I minus I1 into S equals to I1 into Q, or I can write it as I1 into Q equal I minus I1 into S. So this one is I1. Now what I simply do here is just take this equation and finally this equation, just divide them, dividing equations. So what I will get, I1P over I1Q equal I minus I1 into R, I minus I1 into S. So here this I1 will cancel, I minus I1, I minus I1. So finally you will get P over Q equal R over S, and this is the final equation which we want. So I hope up to now everything is clear to you. So let's go further. So what I have told you here is simple. We test on bridge principle, and principle is nothing simply that if galvanometer is showing null deflection, then we test on bridge condition only followed, and we can simply write P over Q equals to R over S. P, Q, R, S are the resistance. So I what if I use that condition somewhere, or the V test on bridge conditions is followed by some instrument, and the instrument which use V test on bridge condition is meter bridge. So let us study about it, and you also have a practical related to V test on bridge, and also potentiometer. Potentiometer I will discuss after telling you about meter bridge. So without wasting time, let us talk about meter bridge. So this is the third topic which I am telling you. Without going into much detail, let me just draw a diagram. This is the wire, let us suppose, and here I will be given like this, and okay. I am poor at drawing, so just try it yourself or have a look in the book. You will find the much better figure. Okay, so these are the different points. Here I connect a box which is nothing but simply a resistance box. Let us say that is R, and here I connect the wire, and for it so I am connecting wire, then I should move it. Let us say this is the wire, this is S, and here is the key, here is cell, and this is galvanometer here, and this is 1 meter in length. So in meter bridge, what we actually do is we are given a wire, and we just try to find out what is the resistance of that wire. Maybe we are given a wire, or we may be given some other instrument for which we need to find the resistance. So what we actually do here is we will be given a meter bridge. Meter bridge is nothing but just like a you can understand like just a wood plate, a long wood plate, which is approximately 1 meter in length, and it is somewhat look like this. This is this whole arrangement. Highlight it. This whole arrangement is on the wooden plate, and we are also given a meter scale, which is this one, and this meter scale is just give the what is the value of the null point, and here let us say this is point P, and let us say this is point Q, and this meter scale also contain a wire over it, over which we slide jockey so that we obtain the null point. Jockey is nothing like just like a screwdriver which you have seen, and it is connected by a galvanometer here. Between these 2 points I have connected a resistance box, and in resistance box I just pick the key to give the specific value of the resistance to the circuit, and here this S is the unknown resistance or the instrument for which we need to find the resistance. So up to now I think everything is clear, and this is then connected to a external cell or battery that is of EMF E, but there will be no use of E and whatever we are using in derivation. But if you will do in lab, then you need all these things. So do not forget that your circuit will be complete only when you have a voltage source. If you do not have a voltage source, then probably you will not get the null point. So let us try to understand. Let us say we obtain the null point here, and the length here which over which we obtain the null point is small l, and total length is 1 meter, so I can write it as 100 meter. So what I am doing here is simply here will also be a connecting point from which I connected a galvanometer, and with galvanometer I connected a jockey, and over this wire which will be given here of 1 meter in length, I will move this jockey, and I will move jockey in such a way that this galvanometer show zero deflection, and when it will show zero deflection I will stop my jockey there at that point, and will notice the length from the point P, or the from the point from the point P which is along the side of resistance box, and I will calculate the value of L. So let us say at some distance L I got the null point. In that case, so what I will get from here is, since I get null point at length L, so I can write as simply as R over S equal L over 100 minus L, and on upper side I can also write into R, and here I can also write R. So what is simple, what is R? So this R is the resistance per unit length of a wire, and if I solve it, then I can simply cancel it, and I will be left on level L over 100 minus L. So this is the equation that I have obtained, and using this equation what I need to find the S, and you can just simply solve the equation to find S, as you will be given the value of R, because you know what is the resistance you are providing from the resistance box, and you also know the null point. So the main things which you should remember during this is the wire which we are using here, that must be of constant thickness, and resistance of that wire must be uniform, or wire resistance should not change with the length. And with that, whenever you do experiment, then just check the connections also, that connections are properly done, and if possible then use sandpaper to remove if there is any rusting over the wires, and that's all about it, I think. So if you still have any question related to these topics, just put them in the comment box, and I think that video is going longer, so I stop here, and will discuss in the last video about the potentiometer wire. Okay, thank you, and do not forget to subscribe my channel, share it as much as possible, and the videos or lectures or short note will be provided on my blog, and I will put that link in my description, so do not forget to have a look on my blog too.